It's time to talk fantasy football. It's game week 7. I'm Kay Murray, joined by the man in the know, Mark Donaldson. And this week we're talking about captaincy. But Mark, there's not really any obvious choice, is there?
I don't think so this week. There's several choices, but not one that really stands out. I mean, the obvious one is Mohamed Salah every week, but Liverpool are playing Manchester City this week. So you've got a couple of choices here. You can shy away from him if you've got him and think, well, I might go for somebody else. Or you could look back at Liverpool's previous games against Manchester City, Kay, and you'll see that Mohamed Salah has scored 3 goals in the last 4. So he is owned by 58.9% of managers at the time of recording, and many will probably look for an easier fixture, but that's not a bad record for Mo Salah, is it, against Manchester City recently?
Not at all. It's a safe bet. There must be a few others in there, though. What about the likes of Ronaldo?
Yeah, I mean, whenever he arrived in England back to Manchester United, we kind of said, look, he's not a bad option to captain every week. There's this recency bias, not just in fantasy Premier League or fantasy sports, Kay, but in life in general. People don't have patience, and it's a case of, well, if he's not done the job for me for 2 weeks, I'm either going to get rid of him or I'm going to look elsewhere to find a captain. But careful with that, because Man United have got Everton at home this week. A lot of people will captain Cristiano Ronaldo, and I wouldn't put you off him. And again, we don't know who the next penalty taker is going to be at Man United. Will it still be Bruno after his miss, or will his fellow Portuguese say, I want some of this?
Okay, so let's talk about a few of the more popular ones then that could be in the mix, Mark.
Yeah, Michail Antonio doesn't seem to let you down now that he's back fit again and available from suspension. 43.1% of managers own him, and he's got a goal or an assist in 4 of the 5 games that he's played. Missed one, of course, due to suspension. West Ham at home to Brentford this week. Now, if you've got a West Ham defender like Soufal or any of the others, Cresswell, I don't think a captain's armband is certainly something you should be thinking about. Against the Brentford side we saw against Liverpool that loves to come forward, but they do leave the door open at the back. So Antonio, he seems fixture-proof, Michail Antonio. He is certainly a good option for you as well. And Romelu Lukaku, I brought him in nice and early. I was rewarded early on, and I haven't had many returns since then, but I'm going to stay loyal to him. I'll probably put the captain's armband on him or on someone we're about to mention shortly. But Chelsea at home to Southampton this week. A third of managers in the game own Lukaku. He's another tempting option to put the armband on, Kay.
Okay, because, yeah, obviously there's players who are less around in his team. But before we get to that, I just wanted to put this one out there. I saw that Bruno Fernandes is one of the lesser-owned captains, and that was something of a surprise to me.
Well, he's one of the lesser-owned players, and I don't know if many players are going to put a captain's armband on him this week. This was a guy whose ownership was in the 40s and sometimes even in the 50s percent-wise. But since Ronaldo's come in, people need to get money from somewhere to afford the likes of Ronaldo, to afford the likes of Lukaku. And a lot of people have got rid of Bruno Fernandes. So if you've got him, he's only owned by 28.7% of managers at the time of recording. Again, Man United against Everton. If Ronaldo's not scoring, then you've got to think that Bruno Fernandes might be. And if Ronaldo is scoring, then you've got to think that Bruno Fernandes might be helping set him up. So he might still be on the penalties. Who knows? That could be one of those lesser-owned little diamonds in the rough, Bruno Fernandes this week. It's not a bad choice, although you've got to have to be a little bit differential if you want to do that. And if he doesn't, you could be in trouble.
Yeah, it could be, but it could prove to be the edge. And that explained it really well. So thanks for breaking that down for me. All right, another Chelsea player that I did allude to, Marcus Alonso.
There's this kind of scary process or thought process, Kay, about owning Marcus Alonso, because you're one Ben Chilwell selection away from, oh God, why did I bring him in? It's gone on every week. Well, maybe Chilwell's back this week. Nope, Alonso's in, either clean sheet or gets an attacking return. Chelsea at home to Southampton. For me, whether it's Marcus Alonso, and look, there's going to come a time where Ben Chilwell is going to play, he's going to feature, and we might now be into that kind of time where the Champions League is up and running. We're now through 2 match days. Chilwell's going to play, and we don't want to be that manager who's brought in Marcus Alonso and decided to captain him and then find out that Chilwell's playing. So if you're going to choose Marcus Alonso, he could be a really good differential captain for you. I just make sure that you have a decent vice captain. And a little tip for you, when you're making a vice captain, don't play a vice captain in the same game, ideally, just in case something daft happens whether it's a postponement with weather or COVID or whatever, try and have a vice-captain in a different game, because the chances of 2 games going off, the chances of 1 game going off is unlikely, but 2 games, very unlikely. So if you are going to go Alonso, it's a risk. It could be a risk worth taking, but make sure you've got a decent vice-captain.
All right. And just before we do end, I know that there are a couple of other names in the mix when it comes to those that could be lesser owned, Mark.
Yeah, the other guy I'm thinking about captaining this week, as well as Romelu Lukaku, is Rafinha. I mean, he's got 3 goals in 6 games this season so far for Leeds. And it doesn't seem to matter whether Bamford's playing or not if Rafinha gets among the goals. He did last week, but he's in the middle of everything for Leeds. He creates so much. So, look, for me, I hope Bamford is available again, because I think that's better for Rafinha. Some would say, oh, if he's the star, then it's better for him. Maybe, but I think if he's got a quality player in attack, Rodrigo isn't really cutting it right up top. So I'm not too fussed if Bamford plays or doesn't. I would prefer if he did. But I do like the shout of Rafinha. If you want to be a little bit different, if Salah or Ronaldo or Antonio or Lukaku maybe don't score this weekend and you've got Rafinha, then you could make up you can make up plenty of ground for that. The other one is the kind of the dart throw with a blindfold on, trying to hit a bullseye. But you never know, because Wolves take on Newcastle this week, who can't really defend very well. And Raul Jimenez, great to see him back, wasn't it, last week when he got his first goal since that head injury, that serious head injury. And he'll be buzzing this week. Only 4.8% of managers own him. I don't think he'll be in the captain's discussion this week, but if you want to chuck a dart at a board and hit a bullseye with a blindfold on, anything's possible. And Raul Jimenez might be your boy.
Yeah, it might be worth a cheeky little punt. And as always, Mark's given us some great advice in there. So best of luck this week.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN Plus.